Hello everybody and welcome on into another episode where we are going to deep dive into the drafts and spoilers for chapter 83 of Dragon Ball Super. This news comes straight direct from the official Dragon Ball website, so you know that it's all legit and you can trust everything that we're seeing here. The news starts off by saying, we're revealing Toyotaro's storyboard for the opening of Dragon Ball Super's newest chapter in VJump for 1 week only. Read on to get a sneak peek at chapter 83, which is set to be published in VJump's supersized June edition, Thursday, April 21st in Japan. That is next week, or will be this week by the time this video goes live. And here we can see the first piece of draft work that has been done, and it shows Gas versus Bardock's fight continuing on even more. We have a quick flashback reminder to what happened in Chapter 82, and we did do a nice review of that chapter if you haven't seen it already. It says that Goku had previously managed to give Gas the slip with his signature instant teleportation technique to buy some more time. To search for any clues as to how to overcome Gas and his incredible power, Goku and the others turned to the scouter left behind 40 years ago by his father Bardock. And if you remember in the last chapter, they managed to get an audio recording coming out of the scouter to listen on what happened 40 years in the past. My favourite part of this segment was when Goku had an immediate flashback and saw his mother and father in his own memories. This is the first time that we've ever had something like this put into the Dragon Ball Super canon, and it's, to be quite honest, it's exciting stuff. Chapter 83 is currently labelled up as Bardock vs. Gas 2, which is kind of odd because it's not really a rematch, this is more the same fight continued. Nonetheless, we can see that the fray is still going on strong between Bardock and Gas. Chapter 83 looks as though it will start with Gas and Bardock still continuing their fight. Monato is still nearby, and this is not looking good for him. He needs to get the hell out of there as soon as possible. We can see that Gas is still making weapons with his ability, and he's got some kind of a mace with spikes, and he's ready to throw down with Bardock. Thanks to DBS Chronicles over on Twitter, we have a translated version of these drafts. So shout out to him, check him out. He's full of news and information over on Twitter. Speaking of which, go follow us on Twitter. All right, here we have Monato, and he's saying, Bardock, that's enough. We accept our fate. By this point, Bardock is already shocked by hearing these words. He cannot believe what he's hearing. Monato says, you must hurry up and leave this planet. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then he goes on to say, even if you manage to escape, now let me tell you that the Saiyans don't have much time either. And this is coming from Gas. And Bardock says, what was that? What do you mean? And then Gas is winding him up and saying, who knows, I heard it from Elec. And then Bardock carries on the conversation and says that that's nonsense that he's talking about. So from this, we can clearly see that Elec's heard some news from Frieza that he plans to eradicate the Saiyans. This is not good news, but this could also be the reason why Bardock ends up with an idea that something bad is going to happen to the Saiyans, and would kind of explain a lot of information coming up when we finally meet him in Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now, this next draft here shows that the fight truly begins. We have Bardock saying, the ones who don't have much time are you guys. And you can see he throws a massive ki blast at Gas. He jumps out of the way and starts swinging this mace around. Now, Bardock actually catches this mace with his bare hands, and now that is pretty badass when he's swinging this thing down with some serious force. He's screaming in agony here, whilst Gas is just smiling and relishing in the chaos that he's causing. But Bardock manages to grab a hold of the mace, swing it around, and clear Gas to make some way and some time to get out of the way. Bardock goes absolutely berserk, catches this mace, and launches Gas into the distance. Bardock turns and screams at Monato and basically says, this is my fight and you guys are in the way, so get the hell out of here. Purposely throwing some distance between the two, Bardock's able to put some distance between the fight and everybody else. Kind of shows a little bit of care and thought for some other people here, which some people may not like the idea of, with Bardock being supposed to be this ruthless Saiyan warrior. The fight continues after Bardock dashes back towards Gas, and Gas says, your attacks are like needles hitting the Kachin metal. And this is a nice throwback to when Gohan was training with Supreme Kai and was trying to unleash the power of the Z-Sword. He sliced in half, or tried to, a giant block of Kachin, which was labelled as the strongest metal in the universe. This ultimately broke the Z-Sword and obviously released Elder Kai. So you can see Gas must be getting pushed to his limits here, because he unleashes his instincts and his transformation, basically. He lets everything out and basically says, it's time to end this. And Bardock gets blown away by the transformation after he shocks him with some kind of electric attack, I guess, or something like that, but it puts Bardock down. He's almost out for the count now. Meanwhile, we see Minato going through his belongings and finding the Dragon Balls that are from Planet Cereal. Here it says, we are forbidden to use the Dragon Ball for ourselves, but if it's for aliens, it should be allowed. And then we finally end the chapter drafts here with Bardock getting smashed in the face and losing the Scouter, which is something that we had to have an explanation for, because at one point he had it and the next point he doesn't. I guess if you're referring to the next point being Dragon Ball Super. Which also reminds me, in Dragon Ball Super, there's a weird scene where Bardock's fully battered in his Saiyan armor, and there was nothing to have triggered that to have happened. Makes me think that something got cut out of the Dragon Ball Super movie. If not, it's something that was definitely a mistake in the movie, and no one really picks up on it or talks about it. Now, the problem here with the Dragon Balls is that Minato doesn't use them. We know he doesn't use them because he cannot remember how Bardock won the fight. So it makes me think that if they are there and to be used, that Bardock uses them. It's possible, but it's maybe a far stretch that that's what happens. Something happens and changes the entire weight of this fight. We end up seeing Bardock as the victor somehow and Gas being beaten. Minato does not know how this happens, but we've been hinted here with the Dragon Balls that something could happen. Is it possible that there's a power-up that's on a time limit, or maybe Bardock actually gets given some kind of ability to transform for a certain amount of time to beat Gas? I guess we're going to have to wait until the chapter comes out and see what the answer is. If you have liked this week's episode, please go check out the review for Chapter 82. We have got Chapter 83 hitting us this week, and we will be doing a review on that manga chapter. So please look forward to it. Until then, hit the subscribe and like button, leave a comment below if you've enjoyed this week's video, and until then, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.